Thank you so very much, and apologies for the loss of sound. These things do happen sometimes when you're dealing with technology. So I think that's what's really happened there. Once again, thank you so very much for being part of this program, and I wish to welcome you once again to this weekly the Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. Before we go further, I need to make it clear today that today's program, being the first one in 2025, like we said, after we went for a recess, that we will be coming back bigger and better and with a robust program. So our conference will be exactly two hours. We'll not be going a minute over that, especially because all our special guests, especially with the man we have in our midst today, he has another meeting, but because they hold us in high esteem, that is the reason why he decided to grace this conference today. He has another meeting that is starting exactly 5 o'clock UK time, 6 o'clock Nigerian time. But he decided because he and other leaders that we have in Nigeria hold us Nigerians in Nigeria and in diaspora in high esteem. That's the reason why he's here with us today. So we don't want to belabor him. Exactly 2 hours on the dot, we are stopping this program. So anybody who has anything to say, please make sure you raise your hand quickly so that we can call you within the time allowed and stick to our time. Thank you so very much. Again, like I said, today is the first edition of our weekly virtual conference in 2025 after the short break we had shortly before Christmas of 2024. And I wish to thank you again for joining us today as usual. And following on the huge success we had last year, during which we brought to you many of our leaders, from ministers to DGs, executive chairmen and executive secretaries, as well as special advisors to the president, we promised to better our best of 2024 this year by bringing to you every week more leaders in this administration to engage with us on the state of the nation. Today's conference is another special edition as we will be engaging with one of our leaders who is the Statistician-General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer of the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, under the Renewed Hope agenda of President Tinubu. My co-hosts for today, as usual, are Honorable Jacob Ogunseye, Hajia Rekia Abubakar Bello, Udeme Ukwe, Shombayu and Tosin Olayinka, who will be assisting me as usual in moderating today's conference to ensure a smooth and uninterrupted deliberation. This conference is streaming live across social media and especially on Ben TV, courtesy of the CEO of the first Nigerian/African TV digital channel, Alistair Shoyode. Many thanks for your support and assistance always. Looking through the conference today, I can see, as usual, we have every week you have new faces coming in addition to all the regulars. I thank you all for being part of this program. And towards the end of the conference, I will be acknowledging the presence of our leaders and stakeholders in the house. In the meantime, on behalf of the team behind the Renewed Hope Global, I welcome you all to today's session. As usual today, we have in our midst one of the top VVIPs from the administration of President Tinubu, and the VVIP is no other person than Prince Adeyemi Adeniran, Statistician-General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer of the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. And our topic for today is data-driven leadership, harnessing the power of statistics for effective governance. As you all know by now, this platform was set up as a veritable vehicle for interaction between Nigerians across the globe and our leaders in Nigeria. These are the people that hold the apron strings of our country and are steering the ship of our fatherland with a view to enlightening our people and regarding the inner workings of the administration of the day. Today, as always, we will be exploring another segment of President Tinubu's vision and policies in an interactive interview with one of the big shots within the government who will be dissecting President Tinubu's administration, shedding light on its significant achievements and forward-looking plans as encapsulated in the Renewed Hope agenda, upon which the president campaigned, and we all gave him the mandate as well as the golden keys to Aso Villa on the 25th of February 2023. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that our special guest of honor for today has joined the conference. Our special guest, as again, like I said earlier on, is Prince Adeyemi Adeniran, Statistician-General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer of the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS. So, to kickstart the conference, please permit me to read out the profile of our special guests. Prince Adeyemi Adeniran is the Statistician-General of the Federation and Chief Executive Officer of the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, Nigeria's apex statistical agency. He is a seasoned professional statistician. He brings over 34 years of experience in statistical methodologies, data analytics, and survey management. Throughout his distinguished career at the NBS, Prince Adeniran has held leadership roles across various departments and divisions, spearheading critical statistical initiatives and modernizing data collection processes. His specialization in survey design and sampling methodologies has significantly contributed to executing numerous large-scale national surveys, integrating innovative and globally recognized statistical practices. Beyond the Bureau, however, Prince Adeniran has been an integral part of several high-profile government committees, including the Presidential Committee on Human Capital Development, the Committee on Food Security and Agricultural Development, the Presidential Committee on the National Development Plan from 2021 to date, and the Steering Committee on the Economic Sustainability Plan. His contributions to policy formulation underscore his commitment to evidence-based governance and national development. Prince Adeniran is a fellow of the Nigeria Statistical Association, NSA, and the National Association of Professional Statisticians, NAPS. He is also a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management, MNIM, the Royal Statistical Society, RSS UK, and the International Association of Official Statistics, IAOS. Outside his professional commitments, he also enjoys reading, listening to music, and following lawn tennis and football. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome to our conference today His Excellency Prince Adeyemi Adeniran. You are highly welcome, sir.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here today to be the guest of honor for the first session of this conference in 2025. Thank you very much. Let me start by thanking the organizer of this conference, the convener, Dr. Adebola, and your team. What you are doing for our great country is very enormous, and we need to recognize that. Thank you for creating this platform where government officials can share their experiences and what they are doing to support this present government in achieving results, growth, and development for our country. I want to say that the Renew Hope Virtual Global Conference is a platform that is required for us to share knowledge, share what is going on in the government circle with our citizens all over the world, wherever they are. And I want to use the opportunity to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all Nigerians globally, wherever they are. I'm happy to be here to be the first guest of honor for this session in 2025. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so very much. I like that's your acceptance speech. I think today is probably going to be a novelty conference for so many reasons, and for that I remain grateful to you for even accepting to be part of this program. But like I said, we're not going to belabor you today. 2 hours on the dot, we are stopping this because I understand you have more other commitments. And thank you again for, despite your tight schedule, you still find time to say you're going to be with us. So for that, I believe I'm speaking for all Nigerians across the globe when I say thank you for that. Thank you so very much, sir. So let me just fire the first salvo of questions, then I'll leave it to the audience to begin to fill their questions. Once again, for the benefit of our viewers and participants, our main topic for today is data-driven leadership, harnessing the power of statistics for effective governance. So my question to Your Excellency is going to be based, because normally that's what I do, around the theme for the day, which is data-driven leadership, harnessing the power of statistics for effective governance. So I'm going to be rolling 2 or 3 questions into one, just to save time, so that I'll give you enough time for you to be able to do it justice, like I know you will. So my first question would be to ask for an overview of what the National Bureau of Statistics is all about. Secondly, given the large population of Nigeria, some say we are 200 million, others say we are more than that. The question is, do we have a data for our population? And if we do, to what extent has this been harnessed for effective governance? That's my question to you, sir. So you have all the time to dissect that and enlighten us, because that's what we are here for. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Talking about the National Bureau of Statistics, we are the official custodian of all official statistics for the country. We are the National Statistical Agency, officially recognized to host all the data produced within the Nigerian statistical system. The core mandate of NBS is to produce on a sustainable basis socioeconomic data, and indeed data on all facets of our development in the country. We are not only to produce official data, we also coordinate the entire Nigerian statistical system, which is the biggest in Africa. We have, as constituent of the Nigerian statistical system, the planning research department of all MDAs in the country. They are part of the Nigerian statistical system. We also have all the state bureau of statistics, because each of the state government is allowed to establish their own bureau of statistics. The National Bureau of Statistics is the coordinator of the entire state bureau of statistics. Not only this, all the statistics departments in our tertiary institution, both university and polytechnic, are also part of the Nigerian statistical system. We are having a platform where we meet twice in a year to harmonize our methodology that we use to collect this data. And the National Bureau of Statistics is saddled with the responsibility to organize that meeting. We call it the National Consultative Committee on Statistics, where we meet at the early part of the year and later part of the year to harness and harmonize our methodology. These are some of the core mandates of the National Bureau of Statistics. Probably as we go on, I will dwell more on some of the role of MBS again. In terms of talking about the population size, whether we have official data for actual number of citizens in the country, the responsibility to conduct census for Nigeria lies with the National Population Commission. The role of conducting census is not that of National Bureau of Statistics. What I can say is that there is a high-level plan. As we all know, we are almost getting to the point of conducting the census, but because of the transition to this new government, it was postponed. And we look forward to having the data and the census conducted later this year. Having said that, for us at the National Bureau of Statistics, when we conduct our big national household survey, we also have a means of getting estimate of the total population. And what we can say now is around maybe 216 to 220 from the projected figure, not actual, because the National Population Commission is supposed to give the actual population figure, not MBS. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, sir, for that a brief overview. I understand that you have a presentation to make. So I'm just wondering if you can just do that now because you are the main attraction for us today. So we are here to listen to you, and I think you have the floor now to go ahead and do your presentation, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. Thank you very much, listeners and the convener. Thank you. I will quickly share my screen so that I can run through my presentation. Thank you.
Okay, sir.
Please confirm if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Jacob, confirm it. Thank you. Yeah. So the topic is data-driven leadership, harnessing the power of statistics for governance. Quickly, I will run through the topics that I want to discuss with us today. I will just introduce more the MBS and the Nigerian statistical system to us. I've started with that already, but just to expatiate more on it. I will also be going to talk about the strategy that we have put in place to develop statistics in Nigeria. Then talking about how do we collect our data? What's the process that we use in getting data produced for the country? We all know that having data is not enough, but what is the quality of that data? For government to use the data for effective policy making, decision taking, the data has to be of high quality. So we talk briefly about the quality framework that we put in place for our data production. Then the statistical output, what are the various result output that we have, since we are data producing agencies, not only from MBS, but other data produced by the other arms of the Nigerian statistical system. We'll also be talking about them. And then dissemination and statistical literacy in the country. What effort are we putting in place for people to understand the data that we are producing so that they'll be able to use it effectively in their various organizations or by government? Then the last one will be to harness statistics for the Renew Hope agenda. This is very important, especially related to this topic. And we see how MBS is supporting the government of the day to give data that they are using to even measure the performance of ministers and the ministry, as we have it under the CDCU, Center for Coordinating Center for the Delivery Unit of Government. And then I can conclude. Then we can follow up with questions and answers, as you said. So introduction goes like this. One of the hallmark of good leadership is the ability to make informed decisions. As we all know, this present government always rely on data for decisions that they have been taking, as if we have been following them back to back. They have been transparent and they have been open in what informed the decision that they are taking for the country. Globally, the trends in development require that leaders are open and transparent in the process by which they make decisions and design programs. Leaders also need to present evidence to support their claims and achievements in the space of governance. We can observe this when Mr. President was presenting the budget for this year. You see a lot of data in terms of what is a GDP achievement they are hoping for, the level of inflation they want to achieve, and crude oil production that we have in the country, and other parameters that inform the budget that they are presenting to the National Assembly. This is a way of showing transparency in what government is doing. Reliable data and statistics are thus indispensable in the governance process, particularly in our own kind of society, where resources are very scarce and development is needed urgently. So we want to see how does government get the data and statistics that is required for their day-to-day running. Then we go to MBS and the entire Nigerian statistical system. What role do we play? What is our role? And what constitutes the Nigerian statistical system? The National Bureau of Statistics is the official statistical agency for the country. MBS was established under the Statistics Act of 2007. At that point, the former Federal Office of Statistics was merged with the National Data Bank to form what we now know as the National Bureau of Statistics. The Statistics Act of 2007 is what is driving our operation and the way we relate with other systems. At the National Bureau of Statistics, the headquarters comprises of 16 departments, which has 15, it has 11 operational and 5 service departments, making 16. And under the Office of the Statistician-General, we also have 2 units, the Internal Audit Unit and the Statistical Intelligence Unit. The entire staff operating in MBS, covering all the state of the Federation to collect data for us, is 2,059 in number. And we have 46 offices across the Federation. We have office in each of the 36 states and FCT, that's 37. And we have 6 zonal offices, making 46 and 43. Also, we have 3 Federal School of Statistics, making 46. What is the core mandate of MBS? As I was saying before, the National Bureau of Statistics coordinates the entire Nigerian statistical system, which is the biggest in Africa. We advise the government on statistical matters, whether federal or state government. We meet with them regularly to advise and to advocate for the use of statistics, and also for states to establish their own Bureau of Statistics. We usually liaise with our state Bureau of Statistics or state statistical agency to meet the state government to discuss the need for them to use statistics, to discuss the need for them to establish their own Bureau of Statistics so that they can have data at the grassroots level, up to local government, up to world level. These have been done regularly. MBS also sets statistical standard and methodology that is being used within the entire Nigerian statistical system. We do this through, as I was saying before, the National Consultative Committee on Statistics meeting, which we usually hold twice in a year. And also we do this through bilateral support to all the members of the statistical system. This is core of our mandate. The National Bureau of Statistics collect, compile, analyze, and interpret, as well as publish and disseminate statistical information to the entire Nigerian statistical system and Nigerian government. This is done usually alone in some of our core mandates, but generally, we always love to collaborate with other agencies of government, with development partners, and civil society, as well as private sectors. More of our data, almost 70%, we collaborate with other bodies to get the data collected. But we have some core mandates, some core data output that we collect, whether we have collaborator or not, such as the gross domestic product that we release every quarter, the CPI, Consumer Price Index, that measure inflation, that we release every month, the foreign trade statistics that we release every quarter, as well as unemployment statistics that we release on quarterly basis. These are done by MBS, whether we have somebody to collaborate or not. Another mandate of MBS is to develop and maintain comprehensive national data bank. We develop a data warehousing system where we can harvest and harness data from different sources and make them available and accessible to Nigerians wherever they are. Presently, we are also working on the expansion of our server room where this data is being hosted. Lastly, the focal point of contact with international agencies when it has to do with statistical matters. The National Bureau of Statistics is saddled to do this on behalf of the country. We do this by attending the United Nations Statistical Commission every year, where every statistical bodies all over the world converge to discuss issues of statistics. The MBS usually represent the country so that we can come back and bring back the new development in statistical world. We also do this by attending regular meetings conducted by African Center for Statistics through the Statistics Africa under the auspices of United Nations Commission, Economic Commission for Africa. We usually have meetings of Committee of DG and SG of Nations, where we meet to discuss issue of statistics and data production, and we bring this back to our statistical system for us to move forward. These are the core mandates that MDS is carrying out when it comes to our mandate for the nation. What is our vision and mission? Our vision is to become one of the foremost and modern knowledge-based national statistical offices in Africa, and that can compete favorably with other NSO across the globe. Our mission is to generate data on a continuous and sustainable basis, socio-economic statistics that relates to all facets of our development in the country. The National Bureau of Statistics, as has been introduced by Dr. Adebola, is headed by the Statistician-General of the Federation, who report to the Honorable Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, and also report to the governing board whenever it's constituted. As I said, we have presence in all the states of the Federation, and our headquarters is in Abuja. We have 37 state offices, 36 states plus FCT, where we collect data for our operations. We also have 6 zonal offices, one in Kaduna for Northwest, one in Oyo State for Southwest. We also have our zonal office in Enugu for the Southeast. The one for South is in Cross River State, and the one for Northeast is in Gombe State. We also have presence of our zonal office in Plateau State to coordinate the work of state in North Central Zone. Each of the zonal office coordinate activities under their zone. And as I said before, we have Federal Office of Statistics, where we train middle-level manpower in this area of statistics, using practical experience to train and teach them. 3 campuses of Federal Office of Statistics are on ground now. We have one in Ibadan. We have another one in Manchok. Manchok is in Kaduna State, and we have another one in Enugu State. Talking about the structure of the Nigerian statistical system, as I said before, Nigerian statistical system is the biggest in Africa, as expected, because of our size, because of our role in the region. We have all the federal ministry, department, and agencies. Their planning, research, and statistics department are members of the statistical system. We have the State Bureau of Statistics. We also have ministry, department, and agencies under the State Bureau of Statistics that are also part of the system. And then all the 774 local governments are expected to have statistical unit in the local government. These statistical units in the local government are also part of the entire Nigerian statistical system. And we have Department of Statistics in our tertiary institutions, universities, and polytechnics. And the National Bureau of Statistics is at the apex of all this to coordinate and make sure the system is functioning properly. Who are the major stakeholders in the statistical system? We have data producers, we have data suppliers, and we have those that are using the data that we are producing in the Nigerian statistical system. When we talk of data producers, as I said before, the federal ministry, department, and agencies of government also produce their own data within their system, within their sector, which emanate from their day-to-day routine activities. All the work that they are doing, whether inside their file, on their computer, can be turned into data. So they are also producing data as they do their work. We also have State Bureau of Statistics as one of the producers of data in the system. They produce data for the state government. They produce data also for their own MDAs. And then we have the local government statistical unit, as I said. The other data that is coming up is the big data, as we all know. It's another area we are exploring to be getting data produced for the country. This is a work in progress for us. Then we have data suppliers. Who are the people supplying us data, whether at MBS, at federal ministry, or at the State Bureau of Statistics? We have the households. The household in the country provide data whenever we visit them. We will be seeing how we approach data production system when it comes to getting data from the household as we go along. We also have administrative sources of data. The MDAs, as I said, the state bureau of statistics, private sectors, civil society organizations also are sources of data supplier for us at the National Bureau of Statistics. Then the business establishment, when we talk about private sectors, also provide a lot of data when it comes to establishment survey in the country. Who are the users? The federal government, the state government, and indeed the local government. Of government, all tiers of government are the users of our data that we produce. It's not only the government, development partners also use our data for their own activities in the country. All UN agencies make use of data produced by MBS and other arms of the statistical system. IMF use our data for their projection, for all the work that they are doing. The World Bank also makes use of our data, whether also data, establishment data, they use data from MBS and other parts of the statistical system. Sometimes people say the data from World Bank is reliable, is authoritative, but I want to say that most of the data that they use for country is the data produced by the National Bureau of Statistics. We work together to generate this data and they make use of them. We also have businesses, researchers, and academia that are also using our data, both from private sectors, researchers, academicians, civil society organizations, and the like. They also make use of our data. Also, we have individuals, students doing research, people that want to know about Nigeria and all that are individual. They also get our data and use it for their purpose. And lastly, we have embassies. The embassies in Nigeria also make use of data produced by the National Bureau of Statistics and other arms of the statistical system. Let's move to, let me dwell a bit on the latest national strategy for the development of statistics that we just developed, which we developed to drive the direction and development of statistical activities in the country for the next 4 to 5 years. This document will help us in making data available for our users in the way and manner in which they want the data. It is a sustainable way to provide data to government for good governance that we are all yearning for. I want to say that this document, the NSDS that we have in Nigeria now, has been described as one of the best in Africa, and it will soon come into operation. The framework for the development of statistics, which is the NSDS that we are talking, the NSDS is the third phase that we are developing for the country. The first phase was between 2010 and 2014. And after the first phase of the NSDS, we have the second phase developed, which is 2017 to 2021. I want to say that the way and manner in which the first two phases were developed cannot be compared with what we have done and what we have put in place in coming up with the third phase that will run from 2024 to 2028. There are a lot of collaboration, there are a lot of engagement, there are a lot of meetings that went into it, and suggestions and ideas that are brought into the development of that document. It was developed following extensive consultation with relevant stakeholders of the statistical system in Nigeria, including local and international partners. In line with the openness and transparency of the Renew Hope government, the NSDS was developed with entire openness and transparency. And this is what people have been saying about this new document to be launched and implemented in the country. What are the strategic framework in the third NSDS that we have? First, the vision of that NSDS is to build a resilient, a responsive, and a very globally competitive national statistical system for the country. And the mission is to provide the right data to the data users in the country in the right format and the right way in which they want them at the right time and in a very, very cost-effective manner. What are the priorities areas that we want to focus on under this NSDS 2024 to 2028? The first one is that we want an inclusive NSDS, where we ensure that the statistical system cater for the need of all segments of our population, be it in terms of gender, in terms of people living with disability, those that are live in marginalized area, or the marginalized group, people that live in hard to reach areas. This system is developed to capture and cater for the data that we ensure development and intervention for all this group of people. We also have quality and accuracy as our priority under the new NSDS. We want to strive for excellence in data collection, in analysis and dissemination, using sound methodology and best practice in our processes. We want to strive for excellence by adopting best practice that can be comparable with anywhere in the world. Also, as we all know nowadays, the issue of technology development and innovation is driving how data is being produced. So we have put in place strategy that will help us to embrace the latest technology for data collection, analysis, reporting, and dissemination process. By doing this, we have started our own from National Bureau of Statistics, which we also expect that it will permeate to other arm of the Nigerian statistical system as we implement this document. We have established the Data Innovation Lab, where this innovation and technology will be developed and extended to other arms. We also like to have capacity building for our system. We develop and maintain skilled personnel across the entire Nigerian statistical system by conducting training regularly for all the personnel that are in MDAs, in State Bureau of Statistics, and in our local government areas. We are going to be doing this in conjunction with our tertiary institution and other organizations that can provide quality training for our personnel. In doing this also, we are arranging study tour to other clients, to other countries, other NSOs, to see how they are producing their data, how they relate with each other within the system, so that we can also develop space with other developed countries. Capacity building in Nigeria is also done by carrying the members of the State Bureau of Statistics whenever we are conducting our survey at the National Bureau of Statistics. We involve them in all the process, and this is an hands-on training, on-the-job training that we are giving to the personnel at the sub-national levels. And then another priority under the latest NSDS is to foster collaboration with international organizations, academia, and the private sector to access resources, to develop knowledge, to share knowledge, and also technical assistance. Let me just highlight some specific output, not exhaustive, but some of them that we'll be expecting to see as we implement the new NSDS. We are going to institutionalize labor force survey more at the MBS, and also ensure that the State Bureau of Statistics are also able to produce this on a regular basis. The completion of the CPI rebasing, Consumer Price Index rebasing exercise, we will see more as I go on. I will talk more about the rebasing exercise for both the CPI and GDP rebasing. Then we are having new product, the Producer Price Index. This index has not been produced in the country for some time, for some years, but we have started the process of producing this because it's an index that is very useful for our establishment, our businesses, and government. Another output that we'll be expecting is to enhance system of administrative statistics at the federal and state level. We will see also what we are doing to achieve this part of the output. Another one is to establish data innovation lab. As I said before, we'll be working on this, and we are carrying the state Bureau of Statistics along with this, also with the ministry, department, and agencies of government, because using innovation to drive data production has to be the entire system that is going to be driving that. And then we want to establish a GIS lab, which we have started the process already. This lab will allow us to combine geospatial data analysis with other sources of data. And we all know how the data analysis with geospatial is going in the world now. This, if you are able to do it, will give us more insight into the kind of analysis, into the kind of data that we can make available to government to make informed decision, right decision at the right time. In addition to this, we are going to conduct annual establishment survey for the country on regular basis and annual basis. Conduct of agri sample survey. We have done this and we continue to do it on yearly basis so that we can have ample data, enough data for government to plan for our agriculture. As we all know, agriculture is one of the sectors that is driving the development that we have in our economy today. So all data that is required for government to come up with policy, program, intervention that can drive agri must be done. That is why we are putting this as one of our specific outputs that we need to achieve. Then harmonization and updating of business enterprises register. We are doing this through using digital means to develop register of businesses and enterprises and establishment in the country. Another one is the production of SDG tracking indicators. We are working to see that on regular basis, especially annual basis, we have means data, enough data that we can use to track our progress that we are making in achievement of SDG in the country. Then, as part of the work of that we want to do at this NSDS is to ensure that we have a Statistics Act that is more recent, that can allow us to achieve all the objectives, all the targets that we have set in the new NSDS. So the Statistics Act of 2007 cannot drive that system, that document for us effectively. So part of what we will need to achieve is to also review these statistics so that we can have one that is up to date, that can help us and other subnational to drive this document. Then the conduct of the Nigerian Living Standard Survey. We are planning to have another round of this survey between 2026, starting from 2026 and concluding it by year 2027. It is a survey that is planned to be conducted every 5 years, and we are committed to that. Another one that we want to achieve in terms of output under this NSDS is the conduct of the 2025 Multidimensional Poverty Index. We all remember that we launched the last MPI survey in 2022, where we have 133 million citizens multidimensionally poor in the country. Then we have trade in services. What we have been producing is foreign trade in goods and services, but we want to dwell on getting data on trade in services for the country. Because of what is going on at our border in terms of trade, for us to have true picture of what the trade balance is in the country, we are also want to achieve getting data on informal cross-border trade for the country. We try to work with other government agencies, the custom, immigration, to ensure that we have data on all the goods and services crossing our border across the country. This will give us a true picture, apart from the data that we get from custom, which is official data. Then we'll be producing index of industrial production. This will be useful when we are compiling our gross domestic product. Then the population census. I'm glad that the moderator, Dr. Adebola, started his question by asking me about the actual figure for the population of the country. So, as I said, that we are hoping that this population census will come up this year so that we can have accurate data, accurate number that we can be using in the country. So, meanwhile, the Population Commission has demarcated the entire country into smaller units, which you call enumeration areas. And this time around, they use technology to do this demarcation. We have acquired these enumeration areas from them, and that is what we are using to conduct our own household-based survey since the framework, the frame is available. Just to round up the discussion around the national strategy for the development of statistics, you can see, as I said, a lot of engagement went into this development of this document. We have different stakeholders engagement, starting from the one we have in Abuja. You can see members of the National Assembly are there, private individuals are there, private organizations are there, academia, researchers are present at this workshop. And also you see paramilitary people also present, because we need to carry everybody along in the development of this document so that they can own it and they can use it in the next 4 to 5 years to generate data for the country. Not only having conference, having a workshop and engagement in Abuja, we carry the engagement to other part of the country so that we can have proper consultation of what people are expecting us as a statistical system to have, to do within the next 4 to 5 years. So we have zonal stakeholders engagement. You can see we have one in Kano. The picture is on the left-hand side of the screen. And then we have another one in Akwa Ibom State for South-South. That one is the one at the upper screen. We have the Commissioner for Economic Planning at the center there with suit. And then the one in Kano is also part of that picture done, where we have people, as I said, it's an inclusive document. It's an inclusive engagement. You can see somebody on a wheelchair there who also participated and give us their own insight of what they expect us to do for their group. Then I would like to talk about data production processes. How do we generate our data? The first foundation of what we do in MBS is following the fundamental principle of official statistics. And that is what is driving data production all over the world. When I say we attend meeting of United Nations Statistical Commission every year, this is what we are discussing. How do we achieve these 10 commandments in our data production and adhere to them strictly at any point we are producing data? The first one is that your data must be relevant to the situation in your country. It must be impartial. You just have to follow right methodology, put in all the quality assurance measure, and then produce the data the way it is without being partial. And then everybody must have equal access to that data when it's produced. Professional standard and ethics. There are ethics that we have to follow in producing data. When we talk of confidentiality, you must not reveal the data to other third party, because when you are releasing the result, you have to anonymize it such that nobody can be able to trace whoever give information. And that's the only way you can build confidence of those that will be supplying data to you. Then accountability and transparency. You don't produce data and you hide the methodology. If you go to our website, you will see all the methodology. You will see the data set that we use for our analysis. So you don't need to hide anything, because that's the only way you can build confidence of those that want to use the data. Then you have to prevent the misuse or abuse of your data. That's also part of the fundamental principle of official statistics. When people are misquoting our data, it's our responsibility to correct them and give the correct interpretation. And that's why we have all kind of engagement with users. Then sources of official statistics, we have to state it. Confidentiality is very, very paramount when we are producing our data. As I said, legislation, there must be an act in place that give you back to be regarded as official statistics producer in the country. And that's why we are saying that we want to update our Statistics Act. Then national coordination, as I said, that's our role. There must be a way in which we coordinate the way we produce data in the country. Not everybody producing what they want in different way, using different methodology that cannot be coordinated, you cannot compare. So your data production must be well coordinated so that you can compare among states. That's why sometimes when we produce data, we produce and release results for state and compare state. If you don't have this coordination mechanism in place, will not be able to do that. And then use of international standard, because we also need to compare our data with other countries. We have to use best practice. We have to use standard that all other countries are also using. So we cannot deviate from what is being the methodology that's being used by other countries, so that when we produce our data, we can compare with other countries of the world. Then there must be international cooperation. We don't live in isolation to produce data. So these are the basic foundations that we usually follow, and we tick each one of them whenever data is being produced to ensure that we don't deviate from any of these 10 principles of official statistics that we usually refer to as 10 commandments. What are the sources of our data in the country? We produce data through sample surveys. We produce data through censuses, where we study entire unit within a population. And also we harvest and put together administrative data, also to get official data for the country. And as I said before, there is this non-conventional source, which is the big data that is coming up. We are also working on that now to generate data from big data sources and produce and for the country. What are the infrastructure that we have to produce data? We have three major infrastructure that we use to produce data in NBS. The first one is what we call the National Integrated Survey of Households. This is where we make use of the enumeration area that we have collected from National Population Commission, and we have stratified those enumeration areas such that we can have so many surveys that is household based at the same time without any one of them interfering with each other. We also have the National Integrated Survey of Establishment. This is where we also have a database of businesses and establishments in the country, over 1.8 million in the database, where we can take sample of businesses whenever we want to do survey that has to do with business, whether small scale, large scale, medium scale. We have their data in that infrastructure. Also, we have the system of administrative statistics. Presently, we are developing what we call integrated system of administrative statistics, where we can easily connect and have access to data from different MDAs, from State Bureau of Statistics, and they can also get data from us. We have pull and push system that we are developing for us to share data together. These are three major ways by which we infrastructure that we use to produce our data. If I talk about the integrated survey of household, which is the first structure, when we want to collect data from household, this is what we use. The enumeration area that I said is being classified by different attributes. We have the location. We have also urban rural. That's why we're able to produce our results, giving the result in urban and rural sectors. Some of the survey that we conduct under this infrastructure is the quarterly labor force that we produce for unemployment, the general household survey, the Nigerian living standard survey that we produce, also migration survey is conducted under that infrastructure. For the establishment infrastructure, as I said, we have over 1.8 million listed that register, and some of the survey that we conduct under this is the quarterly establishment survey, job creation survey, and business census survey. For system of administrative statistics, about 60 to 65% of our data that we produce, that we generate for the country, are derived from administrative sources, because it is a huge source of data. The only thing that you need to do is to ensure that there are some guidelines that you put in place to turn it into official data. So because the way it is produced inside the file in the system at the MDAs is not exactly the way the users will require them. So it is the duty of us at MBS to get this data, transform it, and make it in a usable format for our users. Let me quickly talk about quality framework. As I said, that it is not only to produce data, but how quality is that data? That is what is needed for government to have effective policy formulation. The use of technology is very central to our data production system. Before now, in the past, the system that we use to produce data is very, very unfriendly. Very unfriendly. You have to print thousands of questionnaires that you want to take to the respondent to fill the questionnaire, to ask them questions, which results at the end of the day to data untimeliness, because before you go to the state, collect the data, fill the questionnaire, then you come back, you start entering the questionnaire. You enter the questionnaire with a lot of error. You have to take time to check that you remove all the errors in the data entry and all that, which eventually lead to wasting of time. Then poor data quality, because it is data, it is manually collected without much technology applied. The quality is always questioned. And when the quality is questioned, what is expected is low acceptability and integrity. And it is also difficult to integrate data because they are not centrally stored, because they are inside paper, because of the level of our technology. It is not easy to integrate, as we are talking about mainstreaming data from different MDAs into MBS. That one cannot be possible before now. And also, the cost of data production is very high. How do we collect data now? We have electronic means of collecting data. It is a modernized system of data collection where we use computer-assisted personal interview instead of paper to collect the data. So you use this device that is already programmed with a lot of checks that cannot allow enumerator to make mistakes, and also that you can transfer the data from the source where it is being collected to the central server, to the central location at the headquarters. We also have this new methodology, new technology to collect data, which is the computer-assisted telephone interview. During the COVID-19, we all know what happened that time. Everywhere was locked down. How do we go to the respondent to collect data with paper? But because of the data center that we have, where we have the call center, where the call agents can gather and use telephone to collect data from respondents without moving out to them, and then we collect this data and analyze. We also have what we call the computer-assisted web interview, where we can send questionnaire to the especially for establishment where they have website. We just post our questionnaire there, they complete it and send it back to us. These are modern way by which we are collecting data. And then we are having web scraping now to get data for analysis. We are also using the application of AI and crowdsourcing, especially to collect prices data. We will soon start to produce that result on weekly basis for government. We'll be collecting data regularly, almost on daily basis, and have results on weekly basis for the country. Some of the software that we use, CS entry, survey solution, survey CTO, open data kit, and a lot of others that we also use when it comes to analysis, Starter, all modern software also apply in MBS. Another way to ensure quality of our data, apart from application of technology, is to ensure that we have remote data quality assurance team, which are stationed at the headquarters whenever we are collecting our data. They monitor what the enumerators are doing in the field, and also they check the data that is being sent from the source, from where they are, their location, to headquarters, and they give them immediate feedback, because it is real-time online that they are checking the data that is coming in. So whenever there is need to make correction, immediately before the enumerator leave the site, they give them feedback to correct whatever mistake or error that is discovered. So some of our statistical output that we have presently, we have over 200 statistical reports that we publish annually. If you go to our website, you will see that from beginning of the year to the end, there is no week, hardly any week, that we don't produce 2 or 3 data at a time. So this report do not include those that are published by our State Bureau of Statistics and the Ministry Department and agency. We are just talking about only from MBS. We have over 200 reports that we publish every year. The publication of this report is guided by our data release calendar. You see that at the beginning of the year, we always put on the website our data release calendar, so that people can be watching out for when we are going to release different data sets that we have. But among these numerous data, the core releases that we don't fail at all is the gross domestic product, GDP, quarterly basis, the CPI, consumer price index, on monthly basis, the foreign trade statistics on quarterly basis, and labor force statistics also on quarterly basis. We don't fail on releasing that. Also talking about what statistical activities are going on presently in MBS. As I said earlier in the presentation, we have the rebasing of our GDP. The rebasing of GDP refers to the process by which we update our base year that we use to measure the country's gross domestic product. It is recommended that the base year should be reviewed comprehensively every 5 years. But because of our environment, looking at funding, looking at a lot of data, a lot of censuses to be conducted, it usually takes more than 5 years. But we are glad, with the support of the present government, through our honorable minister, the Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, we are able to embark on this. We are almost rounding up. The base year is significant because it serves as reference point for comparing economic output over time. The current base year that we are using to generate our GDP presently is done in 2010. But now we are moving that base year from 2010 to 2019. Another very important activity that we are doing now is the rebasing of CPI. The two of them are going concurrently, and by the end of this month, by the grace of God, we are going to release the result from the two rebasing. Talking of rebasing of CPI, it is a process of updating the base year that we use to calculate the index, which measures the average change in prices over time for a basket of goods and services. The last one that was done was in 2009. You can imagine us comparing the data that we collect in 2024. We compare it with the data, the base year of 2009. It is not good enough, but now we are updating that base year from 2009 to 2023 and starting implementation of it in 2024. Data dissemination and data literacy strategy. We discovered that there is need for us to embark on data literacy, advocacy for data literacy, because whenever we release our results, a lot of people don't understand and they tend to misquote, misinterpret the result. So it is important that we increase this strategy, or we work more on this data literacy strategy, so that we can have increased access. Many more people will have access to our report and they will be able to make use of it. That's basically what you are saying. Ability to understand, ability to be able to use it properly, and ability to have access to the data by all and sundry. When we talk of access to data, what effort are we putting in place? What are the things that we are doing to ensure that people have access? We have websites and online dissemination through our MBS website. We have open data portal where we also do some analysis for people that want to just pick table charts to use. Then we have social media where we also disseminate our data. We have mailing list. We have people that we just send the data to at the regular interval. Then press releases. Whenever new data come up, we also do dissemination workshop where we call stakeholders to come and we educate them on how to use the data and how to interpret the result. Then we have National Data Archive, where we have a lot of our data sets, where those that want to do further analysis can get micro data and use it for the way they want it. And we produce some hard copies that we distribute to MDAs, to government functionaries, and to other private sectors. Then some people come to our office. We also have data center in the office, apart from library, where people can come and they can support them in the kind of data that they need. And because there are sometimes people need data that is not on the website or in the one that is released. We can also mine the data for them from the database. Then we have special requests, which we also attend to on a regular basis. The interpretation and use of our data, stakeholders engagement is what we adopt more, so that before the release of any sensitive report, we ensure that we go around, conduct so many workshops for our stakeholders, telling them how the process has been and how the result is going to look like and how to interpret it, how to use it. We almost every time we do this so that we ensure ownership, proper use of data by our various stakeholders. Then we also adopt newly use of visualization tools. We are making use of Power BI to ensure that not only data figures, not only formula are contained in our report, but there are a lot of infographics that can even tell somebody that do not go to school what the data is saying. Then we have user-producer dialogue where we meet to discuss the results. Media retreat on regular basis now, because we also discovered that the media need to understand what our data is saying, how to interpret the data and put it in layman language, the way they always write that people can read and understand. So we are working together, organizing workshop and retreat so that they can be able to relate with our data, relate with the figure, and then put it in a way and manner in which citizens can read and understand. Then we have a lot of documentaries when we are producing our data, from beginning, from planning, from meetings, and then when people are in the field and all that. Then we have social media engagement. This is also done regularly. Media runs. So each time we release a vital report, we send our staff to media houses to go and educate, to go and enlighten, and to go and explain what the data is saying, what the result is all about. Then we also pay study, we receive study visit by students and other groups coming to MBS so that we tell them how we produce data and how to understand what we do at MBS. What are the recent achievements that we recorded based on all the things that we said we have been doing over the years now? We have seen that we have enhanced corporate profile and general awareness of statistics in Nigeria. Hardly there is no week that will not see MBS producing or releasing a result, and this has bring us to more feasibility in the country. Better coordination of statistical system. We have said this one before. Through the NCCS, we are well coordinated and we are producing data in a coordinated manner within the system now. Better but limited funding. Let me, at this point, thank the Renew Hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and our honorable minister. They are doing all things that is possible to ensure that they have better funding for data production in the country. It is on record that it is only in the regime of this government that we have the highest budget in MBS over the past 10 years. It has never been like that before. And that's why we are able to embark on the two big rebasing of GDP and rebasing of CPI at the same time, if not for the better funding that is coming from the government. But at the same time, we still need to have more because of other survey activities that we need to carry out. As I said also, there is more reports that have been published in our website and a host of others as listed here. What are the challenges? We have the subnational, the State Bureau of Statistics need to be strengthened, and we need to work hard to achieve this. There is a high level of informality in our economy, which make data collection more challenging. You know, they don't keep record in formal sector, and also there are some of the informal sector that is security risk. When we talk of illegal mining, if you want to collect data on that, sometimes it comes with some security challenge. Then poor funding and financing mechanism. Here, as we said, that the funding for data production, especially in MBS, has improved in this regime, but the way and manner in which the fund is being released is not favorable for us the way we work at MBS. For instance, we are in January now. By the 15th of this month, we're supposed to release the inflation result, inflation figure for the country. But as you all know, we are just in the process of finalizing the budget and all that. So it is a challenge for us at MBS because the time of release of funding does not match with our own release calendar. So that's what we try to highlight there. Then there's poor culture of record keeping and documentation, especially at household level and small-scale business establishment. So it's always difficult to get data from them unless they have to start probe and further. How do we harness statistics for governance under the Renew Hope agenda? The MBS role under this Renew Hope agenda aligns with our statutory mandate of being the official data producer in the country. MBS also has a special engagement with the Central Resource Delivery Coordinating Unit under the Office of the Secretary to the Federal Government. We all know that this government, when they came into being, they have retreat for all the ministers where they develop key performance indicators that they need to achieve on regular basis. And also the Mr. President appointed the National Coordinator for Policy Coordination, who is also working to measure this KPI for the ministers. The coordinator of CDCU work closely with MBS to ensure that we validate the data being submitted by ministry, department, and agencies of government. And this role is what MBS is committed to to ensure that we have quality data that they can use to validate whatever is being submitted to them. So we have 8 presidential priority areas which form the fulcrum of the KPI developed for the ministries. We can see it from the intention to reform the economy to deliver inclusive growth, strengthen national security for peace and prosperity, that's the second priority, boost agriculture to achieve food security is another priority of government, unlock energy natural resources for sustainable development, up to improve governance for effective service delivery. These are the 8 priority areas of government where the KPIs are being developed. So you can see when I say we are working closely with the CDCU to generate data to validate the KPIs from the ministries, that is when we are having the meeting on how we go about it with the the special advisor to the president on policy coordination. You can see the picture there. So working with the MBS, the staff of CDCU, we are providing data for them and other services in the following areas. We develop a comprehensive monitoring and evaluation framework. Also, we identify the relevant indicator together that can be used to track the progress made by the MDAs, and then we validate the data that is being submitted by MDAs on quarterly basis. This has been ongoing collaboration that we are doing together. As I said, we have over 124 high impact indicators collated, which is across all the MDAs. And then we validate these indicators every quarter and submit the report to CDCU. Then the data support the development of periodic ministerial scorecard, which assists in the assessment of ministerial performance. This is core area where MBS is supporting good governance with quality data. Let me start concluding by saying that MBS is going through a period of modernization and transformation, as you have seen in the presentation. And this is happening under this present administration because of the support that they have for MBS and for other subnational data production. The aim is to enhance the availability and use of quality data in evidence-based decision-making of government and all other users, not just government, private sectors are also using our data. We will continue to improve and do our work with utmost professionalism in line with international best practice. I want to say at this point that the National Bureau of Statistics is recognized as the leading statistics office in Africa. Whenever we go for function, either at UN Statistical Commission, MBS is usually called to represent Africa when we want to take a position. And as I speak, we are also giving support to other neighboring countries presently. Coming this Monday, we are expecting a team from Gambia Bureau of Statistics that are coming to Nigeria to understudy how we conducted our National Agricultural Sample Survey and the National Agricultural Census, and also the labor force statistics that we are producing. About a month ago, around November last year, we also host Sierra Leone Statistics Organization. Also, they come around to come and learn how we do some the gross domestic product on quarterly basis. How do we achieve that over many years past? So we are taking the leading role to lead other West African countries in statistical development. Thank you for your attention, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Wow. What can I say? Thank you so very much, Your Excellency. What can I say? This presentation in my mind has finally put to bed, finally, in my view, the perception of some people based on the warped narratives that they see or they read on social media, that Nigeria does not have statistical data. You literally, Your Excellencies, you literally took Nigerians at home and abroad back to school there with this elaborate analysis. The nearest we got to this was sometime last year in October, when we had the special advisor to the president. I think it's Dr. Nuruddin Zoro, yeah, who did similar thing like that, but on a smaller scale. This for me is completely taking us back to school to say, for those doubting Thomases about our country, this is to you. And for anyone who is still doubting, if you want to fact check this, because I know some people with all this elaborate thing, they still don't want to believe. If you want to fact check, please send us your request. We will gladly send you this this analysis, so that when you see it with your koro eye, you will know say Nigeria is on the digital age. We've been telling you all along. You just don't want to believe us. Now you are seeing it with your own eyes now. Thank you so very much, sir. I don't know how to thank you enough, because I wasn't expecting this, I must say. It is a shock to me, and a very beautiful shock as well. Thank you so very much. I think, again, this says a lot about the kind of leadership that we have in this administration now, who are not only receptive to the yearnings of Nigerians, but are on the ball, knowing fully well what we need and how to move this country forward. And that is why we are doing what we are doing now, bringing this platform to enlighten Nigerians, especially the doubting Thomases out there, who are daily being fed some false information about our country. This is our own way of saying, you know what? If you want to know the real thing going on in the country, come to our conference every Saturday. We will educate you. We'll take you back to school like you're just taking us now. Thank you so very much, sir. Before I go forward further, we have, as usual, some big VVIPs in our midst. And before we go to our participants, I have a duty to introduce them. Your special guest, you please permit me 2 or 3 minutes for me just to do that. Then we go back to our questioning. First of all, we have, they don't come any bigger than this. We have in our midst today the Chief of Staff to the President, no less. He is the Right Honorable Femi Gbadabiamila. He's in our midst today, watching us. Thank you so very much, sir, for coming on this program. We love the fact that you are here and you are watching what we are doing. Thank you so very much. And secondly, we also have the CEO of Ben TV, Ambassador Alastair Shoyode. He owns the first Nigerian and African TV digital on Sky. Thank you so very much. And we also have the Honorable Minister of National Orientation Agency. He was our special guest sometime last year too. So he's on our program again today. He's Alhaji Mohammed Idris, FNIPR. Thank you so very much, sir, for your support. We always cherish it. And last but the Yorubas will say, Emulalun Kenyigbale. Last but not the least, is our grand patron himself, Honorable Batunde Ogala, the SAN. He is the senior legal counsel to the president. He is in our midst today. He always sneaking on us, but I have my eagle eye of spotting him anytime he comes along. So please, also our special guest, give me 2 minutes so that I will allow him to address us like he always does. So Honorable, my co-host, please unmute Honorable Ogala to address us for a few minutes. Then we go back to our participants. Honorable Ogala, you have the floor now, sir.
Thank you very much, JK. Let me also join in thanking the big fishes who have joined us today. My friend, my brother, the Chief of Staff, Right Honorable Femi Akim Gbadabiamila, my co-Omeko. The Honorable Minister of Information, thank you very much too. Of course, the Statistician-General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. What can I say? I've listened. JK said he sent him back to school. Well, I feel like I've never been to school. So you just did not send me back, you just took me to school. Honestly, I did not before now know that we have so much on data, on statistics, and so invested. And beyond that, I did not know we have such a very versatile, competent, informative, and eloquent communicator as our statistics.
Your video is not on. Your video is not on, sir.
No, it's okay. Let's just go like this.
All right,
let's go like this.
All right,
I'm not formally dressed like you.
Oh, okay, no problem, sir.
So I say thank you very, very much, Statistician-General, for your for not just the for not just the delivery, but for at least agreeing and taking time to come and be with us.
Yes.
I am very well educated, and I believe so many more. Beyond what you've told us, I think even in my own business now, I know where to run to, where I need data. I know what to tell my foreign clientele who may have doubts about, oh, Nigeria has no data. I mean, and that is unfortunately the kind of narrative out there. So now you can see me. The kind of narrative out there about our country. We don't have data, we don't have statistics, we are not database, we just do it haphazardly and all of that. Now you have proven all that wrong. So I say thank you so very much. For JK and the team, I cannot just continue to commend you for what you do for your country. Not what you do for Bola Tinubu. And like the president said, don't like me. You may hate me. You may hate the leaders, but please love your country.
Yes.
Do not curse your country. And that is exactly what you guys are doing. I mean, we could come in the week in, week out, and we just have a session of praise singing and praise worshiping one individual. But here you are providing education. And the Statistician-General is the Statistician-General of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not Statistician-General of Bola Tinubu or APC. And whatever comes out of this exercise, whatever the Statistician-General and those who are positioned or given these responsibilities to do and they do, it's all about Nigeria. So we need to continuously support them. What the Statistician-General has done today, I was looking at the slides, the PowerPoint presentation. I was personally all than overwhelmed by his delivery, by his education. But I'm almost saying, I mean, like I said, you, JK, said it took you back to school. Me, I felt like I've never been to school, so it didn't take me back. It took me to school. I say thank you very much. And hopefully, as we go along, we'll look forward to more of these engaging sessions. And I do take note, and I'm happy and thankful that the Chief of Staff is here and the Minister of Information and National Orientation is also here. And I take away the fact that the Statistician-General said this is the first time in 10 years, or rather, not the first time. This is the first, the highest budgetary support they have received in the past 10 years. Again, like you also noted, they need more to do more. The Chief of Staff is listening. The Information Minister is listening. And they can take that on board, not just to the President, but to the Federal Executive Council. And you know, unless and until you listen to some of these our leaders and heads of our agencies, you may not appreciate the depth of what they do. I'm too sure there are so many persons who have been saying, what do they even do in that NBS? But without statistics, without data, you cannot plan. In fact, I will say it is the most critical sector that we need for plan. Not to talk about what we need to use for them to plan against tomorrow. Because like he said, it's a day-to-day thing. He even talked about them having call centers where they have persons who attend to us. I never knew this. Now we know. So did Statistician-General, thank you very much for what you do. Thank you for your eloquent delivery. To our participants, I also say thank you for sparing your valuable time to be with us, for sparing your time to want to learn, for the support you also give. Because without the participants, we'll just be here having perhaps a conference call among 2-3 people. But the participants, I must also say thank you. And for JK and the diaspora team, I cannot but continuously thank you enough for what you do from the diaspora. Ben TV Alista, all the time you are here with us. Sometime back you were in Abuja, and from a distance, somebody was telling me that was you. But before I knew it, like a goldfish, which ordinarily ought to have no place to hide, in your own case, your own goldfish disappeared before I could reach you. I also say thank you for your continuous support. Thank you very much, and it's indeed my pleasure to be here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Grand Patron. Your words of wisdom is always very, very cherished on this program, and we always look forward to it. Please, always make sure that we will welcome you as anytime you come around, sir. Thank you so very much for that. So now we're moving on swiftly now, but like I said, we don't want to belabor our special guest. He has another meeting after this, but I've been reliably informed that he has given us another 15 minutes grace. So which means we will be closing exactly 15 minutes after 5 o'clock UK time and 15 minutes after 6 o'clock Nigerian time. So anybody who has any question, please quickly, let's have your hands up now. While I transfer the control to one of my co-hosts, Honorable Adeyemi Ukpe, you have the floor now. You will take 2 questions, and our special guest will answer that. Then I'll go to the next co-host. Thank you so very much. Honorable Adeyemi, you have the floor now.
Thank you so much, Ambassador J.K. Adebola, my chair for this Renewed Hope Global Virtual Town Hall Conference. I want to say a big thank you to our special guest, His Excellency Prince Adeyemi Adeniran, who is the Statistician-General of the Federation. Thank you so much. In fact, sir, I would echo what our grand patron has actually spoken about this evening. I was literally writing some questions, and when I was going through the presentations, I was just striking out all of those questions one by one. I'm like, yeah, this is covered, this is covered, this is covered. And this is how, succinct this presentation has been. Thank you so much for joining us today. I will be taking 2 questions, but before then, I think I have one question, if you permit me to ask. And the question centers on data security and governance. It's just a question about how robust is our data security and governance at the usage level. I have a colleague that is always talking about data. When we mention data is like, no, it's not data, it's information, because data is raw. It's raw, information is processed. So when the bureau has all of these, and and is now being filtered down at that usage level, how do we now look at the security and governance? In the United Kingdom, for instance, personal data is governed by what they call GDPR, which is a kind of, how best to protect people's data, people's identities, and some other things. So how do we now do that in the Nigerian context? So that's my question, and I don't know if you want to answer it one by one or just take 2 more from the participants.
Okay, I think I can quickly answer this, and then we move on to other participants. When we talk of data security and governance in Nigeria, first, the federal government is doing everything to ensure that critical data that are collected in the country are safeguarded. There is this establishment of National Data Protection Board that ensure that all data produced in the country adhere strictly to the tenet of this board. That's one critical way by which we ensure data security for the country. Not only that, within the National Bureau of Statistics, we also have some guidelines, as I said, in the fundamental principle of official statistics. There are also guidelines that we need to follow to ensure that data that we collect have tight security. All the parameters that are not supposed to be in data that we are releasing for users are not there. We have to ensure that data are properly anonymized so that nobody can be traced to the response that is being given. And also, the different sources, because we have different sources of official statistics, we also have to make sure that even the source where we are collecting the data, the one that is not produced primarily by us, we have to trace the source, and also we have to ensure that the quality that is required is there, because just taking the data without verifying, without validating that data, we also come out not yielding the result that we expect. So these are things that we put in place to ensure data security, and also to ensure that we have adequate governance for how data is being produced. One of such is the Data Production Board, Data Protection Board, and also the MBS is playing oversight on the MDAs through our Planning, Research and Statistics Department, and also we are also paying oversight to the State Bureau of Statistics to ensure that data that is they are releasing also meet this security standard at all times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for the answer, sir. Thank you so much. I would call on Joseph Olutade. I know you've had your hands up a long time. Thank you for your patience. I will call on Joseph Olutade, then I'll now hand the floor back to my chief host. Joseph Olutade, you have the floor now. Are you there, Joseph Olutade? Can you unmute? Right, okay. I'm not sure if he's on. Okay, can we unmute Ibrahim Haruna, please? Ibrahim Haruna, thank you. Ibrahim Haruna, you can ask the question now to our chief special guest. Thank you.
Our special greetings to the honorable ministers, honorable chief of staff, and all the important personalities in the house, Barrister J.K. Adebola, and everyone. So I also want to say thank you, Prince Adeyemi. What a great job. You really exposed us to how your organization is working and what you have in stock for us. I know data is very important, and MBS is a strategic branch of the government that need to be given a great level of attention, because the importance of data to help make strategic decisions. You mentioned some challenges, and which is around the poor culture of record keeping and documentation. I know we have the Nigeria Data Center, right? And my question is, how is your organization working with them to ensure that you're able to share some, is it cloud-based or on-prem data center where you can actually keep your data? I also see that what I'm also seeing from part of your challenge is that you might need a human capital development to actually train your staff to be able to handle how they handle data. So those are kind of my question and observation. Thank you.
Yes,
All right, thank you, Mr. Ibrahim Haruna. So, in one of key agencies that we collaborate with is Ministry of Communication, Innovation, and Digital Economy, which also has critical data for the country hosted. So we work closely with them to ensure that we share data together. One agency that is under them that is in charge of this is Galaxy. So whenever we are talking about ensuring data availability, We work with NIDDA, we work with Galaxy, which are agencies under this ministry. We work closely to ensure that data sharing facilities are provided. When I say we are developing our data center server room to upgrade and to expand the ability to absorb data from other sources. These are provided with the support of the NIDDA and the Honorable Minister for Communication and Digital Economy. So, and I said that about 70% of data that we produce are done by collaboration with other government agencies. It is only the core mandates that we do alone, because we cherish the fact that we need to collaborate with different agencies to get enough data for the country and to also to safeguard data that we are having. So the National Data Center is one of the agencies that we work closely with to ensure that we have adequate data for the country. Thank you, Dr. Ben.
Thank you so very much, Your Excellency, for that response. I think I will now have to go to the next co-host, Honorable Jacob Ogusheye. You have the floor now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, sir. Just following the protocol to welcome our guests. I know it has been very almost 2 hours now that we have been here. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. What I'm thanking is, I said, myself as a person, I'm one of the people that hold the view that Nigeria, we don't have very reliable data. But this, today, I think my perspective, my orientation, and my belief has now changed. I now know that we have reliable, not just data, but reliable data. So we still have, so I still want to ask, how do you get to the remote villages to get your data? Some places in Nigeria are not motorable. Some places in Nigeria, you have to travel through boats and through other stuff. And to get and you mentioned the household data. How do you assess those data and how do you ensure that they are quality, that they are not forged or just mixed up by some people on the road? That's my first question, sir. Now I will now go back to our dear leader from South Africa, Engineer Bola Babarindi. Sir, you can unmute, sir, so you can, our guests can answer the 2 questions together, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Engineer Babarindi, you can just, okay.
Yeah, good afternoon, standing on assisting protocol. I tried to put on my video, but it's not coming up. Well, no problem. I can still talk. I hope you are hearing me.
Yes, sir, we are hearing, sir.
All right. Thank you, our dear guests and other participants. My question is for the guests. I want to know, have idea the unemployment figure in Nigeria now? That's for you, our special guest, the unemployment figure in Nigeria, because we have a special program that we can already put together, but unfortunately we were unable to reach the president. Now I'm happy that Chief of Staff is around. We can provide President 20 million jobs in 24 months. How we are going to get to it, giving the blueprints, we work together on this is another thing that we want to achieve today. Thank you very much.
It's over to you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me take the first question by Dr. Ogusheye. How do we get to remote areas? How do we ensure that we reach out to all the nooks and crannies of the country? There are places where in the south, that is riverine areas. So what we do is to provide special fund, special allowance for our enumerators. They usually move by canoe in that area, especially by Yesa, Delta, rivers, and Cross River. So there are special allowances allocated for them. And also in some of our big surveys, when we conduct them, we also have life jackets. We purchase life jackets so that even if they are boarding the canoe, they don't have fear of going to the places. One of the things that we usually, our enumerators usually encounter, especially Bayelsa axis, is pirates. You know, when they go to some remote areas, they encounter the pirates. But there is one unique thing about MBS. Wherever we go, whether in the north, in the south, if they encounter any problem, once they report, because our procedure is that anywhere you want to work, you must report to the district head or the head of that community. You must first pay courtesy visit, explain the purpose, and then what they tend to when we tend to achieve and what is in there for them and the entire Nigeria. So whenever they encounter problem, is the community through the leader that always salvage the situation, and they always come to their aid to support them. So in the northern part especially, we have areas that are very, very hard to reach, either through thick forest, Sambisa area, Adamawa axis, or desert, just sand, and small vehicle cannot pass through the place. So we have to hire, sometimes they go through camel, they ride camel, sometimes they go through these e-logs rather than using small car to move around. So special allowances provided. And in Borno, Yobe, Adamawa, in recent times, we also have collaboration with security agencies. There are some areas that they are being accompanied whenever they are going there. We report to the security that we want to go and work in this particular area, and they always support us by providing men and the military men that are accustomed there and that follow them to the place. How do we ensure that they get there? How do we ensure that they don't just sit somewhere because it's hard to reach places? As I said, we are not using paper for our data collection again. We are using digital means, online digital means to collect data through computer-assisted personal interview devices. These devices are embedded and they have inbuilt geo-coordinates, global positioning system. So they have coordinates that from headquarters, whenever they are in any place, we are tracking them one by one. All the enumerators are being programmed on our server at the headquarters with the GPS. Once they hold the device and they put it on, we know where they are working. Even up to the enumeration area, the local place, the enumeration area where they are working. If you are going out of the enumeration area assigned to you, there is a pointer at the headquarters that is showing us that the device is getting out of where it's supposed to be working. And we quickly put a call across that you are already outside the boundary for which is assigned to you. So you have to go back. And when they send the data is also tracked on the map that is given to them. So we see the point of each household that is covered because of the coordinate that is assigned to that, which we plotted on the map at the headquarters. So it's no more a time that you go and sit in your house or at the book. And also we have inbuilt recording system. Even the time that you have taken to interview, we know because of the pilot, the pretest that we have done, we know how much it's supposed to take you to conduct a proper interview. If you are spending less than that time, and then with the recording that we have inbuilt there, we will be able to track that you are just asking the question without probing, without waiting for them to respond properly and all that. So the technology has helped us to track their movement and also to ensure that they are the place where they're supposed to interview. And the time we take them is also recorded. So all these are inbuilt systems that we have that help us to achieve that. And then we also give thanks to that's why we said we collaborate a lot in getting data produced. The military, they always support. Even the community leaders, we also give kudos to them. They always aid us. It's not like we don't have security challenge, we don't have challenges when they go out, but there are always people that will come to their aid whenever this happens. Then the unemployment figure in Nigeria, as we know that we changed the methodology of our labor force survey last year, and that methodology has allowed us now to produce the unemployment or labor market statistics on regular basis. Since we started with this new methodology, we have not failed to produce the data on quarterly basis. So we have the result for the Q2 of 2024, which the result is 4.3% unemployment rate as we have it now. But it's because of the rebasing exercise that is going on, which I said there are two big exercises that we want to release for the country. We also have the result for Q3 of 2024 as we speak, which we are going to release once we are done with the rebasing exercise. Let me dwell a little bit on this new methodology that we are using for unemployment. Before now, we base our cutoff number of hours for 20 hours a week. And you know, with the advent of technology, with this new trend in the way people, in way and manner in which people work now, you cannot say if you don't work up to 20 hours in a week, you are unemployed. The system, the economy that we run in Nigeria, as we all know, is highly informal. It's not the formal, it's not the standard that you can calculate number of hours and say this is the something. So we now peg, we now decide following the ILO standard to say that if you work for 1 hour and above in a week, you can be regarded as employed. But from all our analysis since we started, the number of people that work for 9 hours, even 9 hours in a week, is about 0.05%. You can see that it's highly negligible because a lot of Nigeria work for many hours in a week. The only thing attributed that we observe from the data is just low productivity and low remuneration. But in terms of number of hours, it's usually very high from the data. And we all of us know that the kind of work that they are doing, because it's highly informal, there is always low productivity. And that's why people are saying we should zero in on formal form of employment. But if we really want to reflect what is happening in the economy, true picture, we have to go through this route. A lot of people are working informally in the country, some far more than formal sector. So to reflect that, we can get data for formal, those that are working 8 hours a week, and then we can also get data for those that are working less than that number of hours in a week. So the data is consistent now, is available now on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for this elaborate explanation. Honestly, I can see with the technology that you have just introduced again, make it more, I mean, it's more clearer that at least for now, as a country, we can boast of a quality data, which is always what I've been talking about every day. So we want to thank, before I go back to my leader, our Ambassador J.K. Adebola, please, you can take over again, sir.
Thank you so very much, my able co-host. Thank you for that. We have one more hand up, and I'm afraid that will be the last question that will be taken, because like I said to you, we don't want to belabor our special guest. He has another meeting, even though he's graciously giving us 15 more minutes, but we don't want to abuse that privilege. So for that reason, this will be the last question we'll be taking. So I'll be going over to Joseph Olutade. Joseph Olutade, you have the floor now. You have just 1 minute to ask your question, and our special guest will answer you. Thank you so very much. Can somebody please unmute Joseph Olutade, please? Honorable Joseph Olutade, are you still there? Honorable Olutade, are you still there?
Not sure, sir.
Okay, I'm afraid we've lost him. So I guess this is where we'll draw the curtain here today again. I wish to thank our special guest for finding time out of your what I consider crazy schedule to be here today. And thank you ever so much, especially for taking all Nigerians, both at home and in diaspora. You took us back to school today. What gladdens my heart is the fact that because most of us we are very active on social media, and we see and we read these assiduous false narratives about Nigeria. Sometimes the kind of Nigeria that people describe on social media, I don't recognize it. And before I left Nigeria, I was in my 30s before I left Nigeria, and I don't recognize the country that day. So for that reason, I don't know how to describe how I'm feeling. Just seeing how elaborate your presentation is. So for me, you've done a great job for the image of Nigeria. And like I said, anybody out there who is still doubting, they don't get data, they don't get we get them now. And we have this presentation for you. All you need to do is to go to our chat on our chat. Put your details there, your email. We will gladly send it to you so that you can spread it out and let the whole world know that Nigeria is now in the 21st century. Damn it! So let nobody come here and tell us any warped false narratives anymore. We are on the move, and this country is moving ahead, and nothing anybody can say that would disabuse our minds regarding that. So all thanks to you, sir, because I can see that with the presentation you've made now, every single one of us, we are now enlightened as to how our country have been and where we have been. I think one of my co-hosts want to have something to say. Let me just give him a second now to say. Honorable Olayinka, do we have a new update?
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I'm so sorry to interject. Okay. I'm here to call to our notice a distinguished who has also joined us. Okay. Otumba Adeboye from NICO, and somebody may please help us or meet him. He may have a word to share with us.
Okay. Otumba Adeboye from NICO, yeah?
NICO, yeah.
Okay. Has it been unmuted? I hope we're not having technical hitch there. Oh, Lord. Can one of our engineers please look into this if it's something that we can do from our end here? Okay, it looks like it's going to be a tall order to get our special guest on. Apologies for that. Sometimes this network thing is a pain. Just give me a second, sir. I'll be back with you now.
All right. Maybe while you are doing that, if you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear, sir.
All right. So while we are trying to connect the person, let me use the opportunity to thank the Chief of Staff, Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for finding time to join this conference. I'm glad that you are part of the participant guest of honor today. Thank you so much. Also, my thanks go to the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, who is also doing very good job in the country to pass right information at the right time to our citizens. Thank you for joining us, Your Excellency. I'm glad that you are here today. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that. I was just going to give you the floor to do that, so you just beat me to it. Thank you so very much again for that. The only thing I can just add for this is that you just reading through our chat room now, it is awash with lot of commendation for your presentation, which means which demonstrate that Nigerians across the world are fascinated by your presentation today, and I think this will go a long way in disabusing the minds of so many Nigerians that has been brainwashed into believing that the country is not fit for purpose. I have never believed that for a minute, and you have just rekindled my my belief now in the country. So for that reason, I say a big thank you to you. And the fact that you are the first VVIP that we're having this year, and you've set the bar now, which I'm sure any other VVIP we're bringing on will have a lot a lot of mountain to climb to beat this record now. So thank you so very much, sir. You see, I keep saying it. We have the crop of leaders that we have now in this new era. They are such people that unless you get close to them, you can never understand how hard they are working to make sure that the country that seems to be on the precipice a couple of years ago is now on its way to a higher trajectory now. And for that, I remain grateful to all of you, our leaders, and for the fact that I keep saying it, every time we knock on your doors, you are always ready to open up and come to us gladly and open up and answer every question the best way that you can. That says a lot about the receptiveness of the leadership that we've got now. And I cannot but say kudos to our president, because people have been saying he knows how to headhunt. And boy, does he know how to headhunt. Because if everything that we've done since last year and all the VVIPs that we had, their performances is anything to go by, I think there's no gainsaying the fact that the man is a real headhunter. And for that reason, we say, thank you so very much, Mr. President. And thank you so very much to all our VVIPs. And again, my Oga Patapata, you set the bar high. And I hope other VVIPs that will be coming after you will be able to fit the golden shoes that you just put on now. So thank you so very much, and I regards to you. I don't know if
thank you so much. Thank you.
Before you leave, sir.
All right. Thank you so much. Once again, I want to express my gratitude for inviting me to be the first guest at this platform for 2025. As we roll out your program every week in the course of the year, we look forward to a robust engagement going forward. And also, we look forward to prosperous Nigeria. Mr. President has set the pace and is working hard to see that development that is required, that we are all yearning for, does not elude us. And that is what we are going to achieve together by supporting our Mr. President. Thank you very much. All the participants across the globe, you can see that we have hope in Nigeria, and the hope is being renewed by Mr. President. Forward ever, backward never. Thank you, and God bless all of you.
Thank you so very much, sir. What a way to draw a curtain on this show for the first time, the first show in the year. Thank you ever so much, sir. Like I've always said, the president means so well for the country. All we just need is patience, perseverance, and prayer. If we have all those three P's, it's just a matter of time. Because he said it himself in one of the recent interviews that we are this close to reaching the light at the end of the tunnel. So that is why the three P's is very important: patience, perseverance, and prayer. That is what will get us there. And by the time we get there, we'll all be laughing. So thank you so very much, sir. And I think we, on our part, at the Renewed Hope Town Hall Virtual Conference, we will continue to support this government for as long as they keep churning out all these policies. Even though, like I said, the policy tend to be a bit harsh on the people, but then it is they are necessary policies that needs to get us to where we need to get to. I was making an analogy on TVC program about 2 weeks ago here. I said, what we are going through now is like a woman who is in labor. You cannot have a child unless you go through labor. And when you're about to have the child, there's something they call trimester or something like that. That woman, if you have been married like I have, and you are fortunate or unfortunate to be next to your wife when she's going into labor, you will never pray to be near them again, because a lot of curses, abuses, and everything will go on, and she will swear never to come near you again. But guess what? As soon as she has the baby, she'll be the first to jump on your bed again to say, let's do it again. So I liken what we are going through now to that because people are saying we are in hardship now, it is necessary for us to go through this because you cannot get to something unless you go through something. That is what we are going through now. So if you can just be patient and perseverance and be praying for our leaders that as God has been endowing them with this wisdom to do, because I said what this government is doing now should have been done decades ago. But the reason other leaders before now were not able to do it because they were scared of the kind of blowback that this administration is getting now. But then our current president has said, you know what, I want to leave a legacy. And he has said, you can abuse me all you want. I call for it, but I know what I'm doing. And I know there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I will do it now. You may be crying now, but you will thank me later. I like that attitude about him because he knows what he's doing and he's continuing not minding all the noise. So for that, I and all of us on this renewed hope will remain grateful to him and to all the leaders whom he has chosen to be with him, who are working with him day and night. Because what you just shown us now, that you are one of those the pillars that is holding this country together, and for that we remain eternally grateful to you. That thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you.
On that note, we are joining the closing now. So thank you so very much. I just wish to thank all my co-hosts who has helped in no small measures to make this another effortless, seem effortless. Even though it is not easy, but it seems effortless because they have been so good at what they do. Honorable Jacob Ogunseye, Honorable Udeme Ukpe, Tosin Olayinka, Boyo, and the rest of them, and Hajia, Reki Abubakar, all of you, thank you so very much. And a huge thank again to our media partners, beginning with Ben TV and the Parrot newspapers from from South Africa and the Reflector newspaper from Nigeria. All of you guys, you have been the reason why we keep succeeding week in, week out, and most especially to our participants on this program and our followers who are watching on Ben TV and on all other social media handles. You are the guys that give us the tonic to come. People ask me, how do you guys maintain it every week? I'm like, simple, two things. The participants and the leaders who every time we knock on their door, they come. Because if they don't come, we don't have a show. But every time we knock on their door, they are always ready. So for that, we remain eternally grateful to you guys. Thank you ever so much. God will continue to bless you all. Thank you so much. And our fathers, stakeholders from South Africa, Russia, I can see all of you from here in the UK. Everybody, thank you ever so much. Because of time factor, I cannot name names now. Maybe next time I will name names. Thank you so very much. Again, to our participants, I will say this again, I keep saying it. Come every week with a program of action that you know will add value to this government, so that you just never know when your preparation will meet with opportunities. Some people did it last year. About 3 of them got appointment through this. One lady, a very lucky lady, got 2 appointments to the booths. Hey, who says we are not doing something for the country? Thank you ever so much, everybody. So we'll meet again. In the next couple of days, we will be posting the next VVIP that will be coming on our show. Look out for that, and as soon as you see it, please help us to share the e-flyer all around so that people can benefit. I don't want to be selfish, and I don't want you to be selfish either. Make sure that we invite as many people as possible to come and share in the blessings that we get every week from our leaders. Thank you ever so much, everybody, and again to our special guest, one more time, God bless you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you.